present and in balance, and it worked. It worked.
Absolutely. We also feng shuied the location of where the vendors were set up for flow and energy. So it was, yeah, it was a really good time. And we met some fantastic people. Yeah, well done, Megan,
Mm.
Ranchel, Christine, let me think, Kareen, Yvonne, Renee, Lorraine. I know I'm missing some, the leadership team. Oh, and I apologize, ladies. Those are the ones off the top of my head.
Yeah, and I'm just hashtagging them, a few of them here.
Perfect.
Okay, there we go. Okay,
Nice. Well,
yeah.
what do we do
Well,
every Friday when we come on live? And
good
we've been doing this for
morning.
over 270 episodes. So, yeah, yes. We come on live. We get our theme from the Feng Shui Personal Paradise card deck by Tara Catherine Collins by shuffling and seeing what cards come out, and we give you some tips. TIP stand for 20 is plenty because in 20 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, you can shift the energy in a space. So, what results are currently showing up for you that you want to change? That's the bottom line. If you're perfectly happy in your life and everything is awesome, thank you for tuning in. We love having your energy here. However, we have not met anyone in that state. Somebody always has something going on, be it health, relationships, family dynamics, work or career related. So, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us live or hashtagging replay or watching us on YouTube. All of the above are an option. And I've been shuffling since before we came on live. I still don't have a card, and I know my neighbor's working away, and she doesn't have a card because she hasn't had a chance to
Hmm.
shuffle.
Not yeah, and I just want to say good morning to Dalmain. And the event was in
Calgary.
Calgary. That's where the E-Women event, they meet once a month. It's a great community.
Yeah.
We absolutely love it, love the support. And we actually had quite a few women that came up to us and talking about our event, her
Mm-hmm.
Inspired Journey Women's Wellness Weekend, happening September 19 and 20 in Red Deer. And they were interested in being a speaker for next year.
Yes.
And on our way home, we had a little chit chat and we decided, so, this is putting the word out right there, right now, that Cheryl and I decided that moving forward, uh, one of the prerequisites of being a speaker at her Inspired Journey will be that you have had to attend an event previously.
Yep.
So you can't just show up on our stage and be a speaker. No, you have to, buy a ticket. Buy a ticket. Come and see what it's all about.
Yes.
And then we will consider your application to be a speaker. So that's what we decided.
It is. And
Okay.
I think the important part about that is one of the comments we hear over and over and over again from attendees is, "Oh my God, you have to be in this space." So it's very hard for a speaker, my opinion, to walk into a space and go, "Wow," because it's going to shift their energy and they're going to come in with one thought, and that may be different when they go to step on stage. So, yeah, I think for the audience, because that's who we focus our attention on, it's about the attendees. They're the ones paying for that speaker to watch that speaker in the long run. And we want it to be fantastic for them. So a win 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 all the way around. So, yes, that's our new rule.
Mhm. Yep.
All right. Did you get a
Okay,
card
well,
already?
yeah, I did. I got number 19,
Mm-hmm.
ceilings.
Oh,
And,
isn't that
and
perfect?
I love it because lately, I have quite a few friends that are realtors, and so on Facebook. their homes, their listings come across my feed. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
I always click on them because I'm interested to see through my feng shui eyes, what the spaces look like and what maybe some of the challenges
Mm-hmm.
for the homeowners or the new homeowners, etc. Anyways, and lately I have noticed there have been quite a few homes where there are beams running across the ceiling, or there is there was one house, and I was like, why would somebody do that? But anyways, they completely put hardwood on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like a wood floor on the ceiling. And so, I mean, ceilings obviously are very important in a home, but let's talk about just those couple of things. So when I see on the ceiling that it looks like my floor, my mind, right? Our mind has an energetic snapshot or imprint of every experience that we've ever had. So when you're walking on a floor, right, that's what your mind knows, and that's the hardwood floor. Now you put it on the ceiling, and all of a sudden, it's going to make the person feel off balance. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to make them feel like they don't know which direction to go. It's going to make them
Upside down.
feel topsy-turvy,
Mm-hmm.
confused. Lots of confusion would be in a home that has a ceiling that looks like a floor, right? Um, and here's the thing, the homeowner and or the new homeowner, won't even realize that they might be having that imbalance because of the environment. And then they're going to go to their doctor, and the doctor's going to check their ears and check, and what's that term, Cheryl, when you're off balance?
Lightheaded.
No, the the thing.
Vertigo. Vertigo.
That's the one. Yes, right. So then they're going to go to the doctor and say, "Oh, and the doctor says, "Oh, you have vertigo." Oh, okay. Meanwhile, it could be because of the off
Environment.
balance that you're feeling in your home environment because you're spending a lot of
100%.
time there. So I don't know. Do they give you drugs for vertigo?
Yep.
Maybe, probably. Um,
There's a drug for everything.
oh yeah, probably. Okay. So, that's one situation. Then you have these beams that run across. And again, you know, at first glance or whatever, people come into this grand entryway and there's these tall, huge ceilings, and it gives the illusion of spaciousness. And they think, oh, wow, this home is so spacious. And, so the first instinct is that it feels spacious,
Mm-hmm.
but repeated action over time equals results. And so living in that space, again, you're not going to feel grounded at
Mm-mm.
all if there's too much of that. And then those beams running across become very heavy, and energetically they can um, they can cause migraines, restless sleep. What else can they? Probably vertigo again.
I was going to say, and not just that, it's like a feeling of pressure. So I want to use an
Mm.
example. And this is a home that I did when I was doing my practicum. And it was beautiful log home. So, of course, these big round beams. In most of the rooms, it was fine. But in the one daughter's bedroom,
Oh yes,
that
I
beam
remember.
ran across her bed. So horizontally, it ran where she laid. Intuitively, she had been asking her mom for a canopy. So she knew intuitively,
Hmm.
but that weight on her, where it was, is exactly where she had health issues. Right across
Mm.
the digestive system, right across the middle of the body. So it was very fascinating because intuitively, when I talked to her mom about it, her mom goes, "Oh my gosh, she's actually been asking for a canopy bed for a long time." I said that intuitively she knew she needed to hide that energy or calm that
Soften it.
energy and
Yeah.
disperse and soften that weight from being over top of her while she was sleeping because she didn't sleep well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So interesting that, like you said, Anita, we don't realize the impact of our environment. Yesterday, people knew that we had done something in the room. They didn't know what it was,
Mm-hmm.
but the energy in that room was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, because you can't pinpoint
You
it
can't
all the
pinpoint
time
it. No.
unless you look through your feng shui eyes
Mm-hmm.
and you're trained and or, you follow us for a while and then you start going, oh, okay.
Well, even
Let's
something so,
connect the
yeah,
dots.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something so simple as there was big notepads on the table. So the tables looked beautiful, but they were so full and so heavy. I said, no, take them off. In your
Mm-hmm.
email, you told people to bring a notebook. At the door, if they need one, they can have one. Not a big deal. But when people come in the room, you don't want that heavy weight. You want it inviting. You want the energy to flow. So the girls noticed, the ladies, I should say, that were helping set up the tables and stuff. As soon as we picked them up off the tables, they were like, oh. And
Mm-hmm.
some of them actually did that. They sighed and their shoulders relaxed
Mm-hmm.
that quickly. Anyway, let's go back to the ceilings because I think
Mm-hmm.
this is super important conversation.
Well, and I'm just kind of smiling to myself because the CEO of eWomen Network, Sandra Yancey, who, by the way, is on her way to have a billion with a B, $1 billion brand,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's her goal, that's her ceiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And quite quite a few times yesterday when she was talking, she was telling us stories and then she was relating that story and how it applied to her business.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I look at this card here today, the ceiling card,
Mm-hmm.
and, some of the conversation that we had yesterday. And again, it's just that little confirmation for us that the height of the ceiling
Mm-hmm.
is where, it's your personal limit, right?
Yeah.
And again, Sandra was talking about 10 timesing her business, and she's come up with a formula, and she's going to share that with her members and things like that. So, I mean, lots of really, really good nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
And so then,
But what happened
that's.
at the end? You went up and talked to her at the end. What did she
Mhm.
say?
She said that she uses feng shui and everything in her office, from down to the pictures on her desk, have been intentionally placed, and she loves feng shui.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't know. $1 billion business. Let's, anyways.
Exactly.
That's her ceiling, right?
Right.
So that's what she's moving towards. And the other thing that I loved about her conversation yesterday too was that for her, it's never been about the money. It's never been about the money. Her and her husband live in the same house that they've lived in for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
Could they buy a big, mansion and all of that stuff? Yeah, absolutely. But she said it's never been about the money. It's been about the impact.
Impact.
And, where's my legacy and how many women's lives can I impact? How many ecosystems, she talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that about her because she is a heart-centered entrepreneur. And she also said, at her age, she's, kind of in our age group, I think, somewhere maybe. She's had great success and she could, people say, why don't you retire? But that's not making impact, right? And her purpose is to continue to make impact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she has that ceiling, that goal to 10 times her business this year. and they're already on target. The first quarter, they're already on target to do that.
Hmm.
So loved it. Loved the
Yeah.
conversation. And yeah. So if
So
you have,
what's a 20 is plenty for the ceilings?
yeah, so the 20 is plenty for the ceilings is, don't forget your ceilings. We were actually cleaning one of the rental properties the other day, and I glanced up, and in the corners there were cobwebs,
Hmm.
right? That stagnant energy can live there too. So a 20 is plenty. It's just, pay attention to your ceilings. Maybe you need to dust some cobwebs out of them. Maybe, maybe the room or the space, maybe the ceilings are quite high, and then go back and think, okay, well, do people actually like coming in this room? And if you find, no, they don't. Okay, well, now you might want to take the pictures and just move them down a little bit
Hmm.
lower, right? So to create that line, so somewhere around the 9-10 feet is comfortable. Anything above that, we feel off balance. So it might be that you need to reposition some of your photos, bring them down, just kind of bring that that line, that horizontal line down a little bit
Hmm.
so that people feel a little bit more grounded in the space.
I
Yeah.
love it. And I just want to say what you just listened to is part of the wisdom that this woman shares when she facilitates the Western School of Feng Shui certification program. And she's going to doing that at the end of the month. So send her a
Next,
message.
that's next week.
That's next week. Yeah, that's next week. All right. Well, I got the number 24 stove card,
Hmm.
which I'm chuckling because mine needs some attention right now. So I don't know why this card came up. Ooh, my whole kitchen needs attention. It's been a bit of a busy, chaotic couple weeks in my house, so which is all good. That's life. Sometimes stuff gets. I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that later. And now it's to the point I need to deal with that. So after we're on Facebook here. Anyway, the number 24 stove card. A little bit of fire, right? You were talking about the ceilings, and now we've got some fire energy. And before we talk about the stove itself, I relate this, and I'm getting the vision of Dr. Shelley James had a post on Facebook this morning, and I commented on it, of an outdoor area of hers where she's got two chairs and a table set up on like a little patio, a gravel patio, and the sun was shining in, and you could see the green of the plants growing on the patio, and this beautiful seating and a beautiful view. And she said, oh, my spot, my favorite spot. She talked about the weeds. It's not about the weeds. So I commented on her post saying, Dr. Shelley, beautiful spot. And you feel it, and your nervous system calms down because it's balanced. It's that 5 element balance coming back into play. Yes, there's a fire energy because she's got the sun coming in, but there was lots of ground, there was water, there was earth. Everything was beautifully balanced. And that's why it calmed her system. So when I got the stove card, I saw that, okay, where's the relationship between the stove card and her picture? And I'm thinking it's the fire energy. So maybe today's conversation is also about the 5 elements because we used them yesterday to make sure that space was elementally balanced. I don't know. Where are
Mhm.
you coming from for the stove?
Yeah, well, I think part of it is coming in because we also talked about yesterday, the fire horse energy,
Mm,
right? The
true.
energy of the year that we're in,
Yeah.
and that this is a very action-based year. There's lots of energy, right, around
Hmm.
action and motivation, and that has to do with impact and all of those things. And it might be, the stove needs to light a fire underneath somebody.
Hmm.
The fire energy of the stove also is considered to be
Gathering.
the um, the symbol of the family's wealth in the home, right? The stove energy.
Mm.
And so it might be that you need to, again, give some, like you say, give some attention to that stove. Turn all the burners on. Make sure that everything is functioning and working. Pull the stove out and clean behind it and underneath it. And
Hmm.
you know what? Give it some love. So if you just think about your stove, if it is anchoring the family's wealth in your home, then again, think about what is showing up currently, what are the current results, and then see if maybe you need to give it some love and or not.
Right. Right. Oh,
Mhm.
I love that. I quite like that. Um, it's also like you had said, when you think of fire and the warmth and that fire energy, a gathering location, right? Quite often the kitchen is the heart of the home as well. And we've talked about that on many episodes for sure. So 20 is plenty because we're way over. Really? Oh my gosh. Where did that go
How did
today?
that happen? Oh, okay.
So the 20 is plenty. What kind
Mhm.
of attention can you give your stove? 20 is minutes. You can quite quickly wipe it down. Mine needs the polish. That's what it needs because I can see
Mhm.
marks on the top of it. And of course, that drives my little control brain crazy. Um, Numerology for today. I'm going to go to the double digit now that I'm rushing.
Number 7, I got.
7. Yeah. 7 is what I get as what?
Ooh, a little springboard movement
A little
happening.
springboard movement. But what's interesting is when Adironda talks about it, the top heavy and the weak foundation, she said the 7 is somewhat unstable. Like the 4, it has a weak foundation and it's also top heavy. But the 7 represents a powerful cycle of time that is coming to or leaving perfection, depending upon what is happening in one's life. So that I find very interesting because in nature right now, we're in a 7-year cycle, and it's the cycle of the forest tent caterpillars, and they are marching right now. So that's where we're at. The 7 is about intuition, analyzing, enlightenment, authority, logical explanations, and learning from the cycles of life. So double digitology. I love that, learning from the cycles of life, because truly everything does have a cycle.
And I'm going to take that back to, again, another thing that Sandra Yancey said yesterday in part of her talk. There were so many times in business that she didn't know how, right? She didn't know how she was
Mm-hmm.
going to do something. She just knew what her North Star was. She knew what
Moonshot.
her ceiling
Yeah.
was. And so just in knowing that, she didn't know the how to do it, right? But she just trusted. And I think that 7 is again showing us that um, to trust, like, yeah, it's got a shaky bottom, but there is that little platform and from which you can jump and trust. Just take it, just
Leap of
trust.
faith.
Just trust that whoever you need, because again, she said that everything we need is within us.
Mm-hmm.
It's already there. And yeah. Anyway, so lots of little nuggets. So thank you for
Big time.
that,
Lots of
Sandra.
nuggets. Yes,
Thank you for
absolutely.
that. And it all ties beautifully into our show today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you
Mhm.
all for joining us. Have yourselves a fabulous week. We're going to drop some links below, of course, for her inspired Journey Women's Wellness Weekend. We would love to have you join us, especially if you think you want to step on the stage. That now will be a pre requirement. First step on the rung, climbing that ladder. Have yourselves a great
Absolutely.
week, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye for now.